An organization is trying to bring more low-income housing to Pittsburgh. I'm Melissa Alexis, and I'll have more on this story coming up.
Plus, a federal court awards a historic judgment to the Show Me State against a foreign government. And Joplin Elementary School draws concerns following a health inspection.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
More low-income housing could be making its way to Pittsburgh. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The housing would be a 42-unit apartment facility. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the project.
We take care of our community, and we do have people who are unsheltered right now.
It's an apartment complex that the executive director of Building Health, Inc. says a number of people in the Pittsburgh area could qualify for.
There's about 1,088 jobs in the region that would qualify to live in this apartment.
Building Health, Inc., which is a subsidiary of the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, and Vecino Group, a company headquartered in Springfield that provides affordable housing, are partnering in hopes of bringing a 42-unit low-income apartment complex to Pittsburgh.
This is an opportunity for anybody earning wages at about $16.70 an hour. So in a lot of our industries, that's entry-level positions. Very beneficial too for people who are in retirement or on Social Security income, whose income doesn't appear to be increasing.
The city of Pittsburgh has committed a low-interest loan of $170,000 towards the project.
I'm grateful for the support of the Pittsburgh Economic Development Advisory Committee, who recommended the $170,000 low-interest loan to the project, and then also the city commissioners who approved that loan.
The low-income apartment complex would be located adjacent to the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas, which is donating the land. Of those 42 units, 12 will be reserved for specific groups in the community.
A person has to have a severe persistent mental illness and or a co-occurring disorder and be exiting homelessness. There's a variety of definitions of homelessness. It's quite long. Exiting an institution might be one of them. Exiting right off the street might be one of them.
Gray says this resource is a huge need in the community.
Homeless outreach activities at Wesley House have changed dramatically. We do not have an overnight shelter. We don't have transitional housing. And honestly, the best solution to homelessness is housing, permanent housing. So pleased to have a partnership with Vecino Group where they recognize the need for permanent supportive housing and are willing to set aside some units for that.
Their next step to make this a reality is applying for income tax credits from the Kansas Housing Resource Corporation. They'll find out if they've been approved in August. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, if approved, Vecino Group anticipates construction will start in the first quarter of next year. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, temperatures are still in the 70s, looking really good outside. We're going to still see those wind gusts gusting up to 25, 30 miles per hour throughout the area out of the southwest. Now, it's also bringing in a lot of dry air, so we are continuing with that fire weather warning through this evening around 7 p.m. So got another hour, but also might see it spike again on Tuesday because we're seeing these relative humidity values drop below 40% by noon and then getting below 30% by about 4 p.m. in the afternoon on Tuesday. Plus, winds are going to continue to gust. Now, there's our fire weather warning again until 7 p.m. just for a couple of our central counties. However, like I said, with those humidity values dropping pretty low tomorrow, we're definitely going to see fire weather concerns, if not a fire weather warning. Now, our next chance of rain isn't going to be until Wednesday. We've got a nice Tuesday in store for us, but I'm going to have a full forecast coming up.
See you soon. The Missouri Attorney General secures a historic judgment against the Chinese Communist Party today. A federal court ruled that Missouri had evidence to prove that China caused and exacerbated the COVID-19 pandemic, harming Missourians. That ruling is supposed to cost the Chinese government $20 billion, 6 times more than the previous judgment, largest judgment in Missouri history. How will Missouri collect? Will they collect? Well, Missouri will now move to collect the judgment and, if necessary, will look to identify and seize Chinese-owned assets, including Missouri farmland. A reminder to all Missouri residents that the last day to register to vote in the April election is this coming Wednesday. Whether you choose to vote online or in person, you must be 18 years of age or older by the time of the election in order to vote, and you must provide some form of ID, like a driver's license, a passport, birth certificate. Here's typically what will be on the ballot on April 8th.
We always remind people it's important if you want to have your voice heard in terms of the city council issues, school board issues, fire protection districts. All those are the opportunity to be able to get registered and make sure that when you go to vote, you let your voice be heard.
Once you're registered, you'll be assigned a specific polling location that'll appear on your voter ID card. If you can't make it on election day, you also have the option to either absentee vote in person or by mail, as well as in-person no excuse absentee voting. Lawmakers in Arkansas passed a bill to provide firearms training to students. The bill would require public school districts and open enrollment public charter schools to annually provide students with instructions on firearm safety. The bill would empower the Arkansas State Game and Fish Commission to work with the Division of Elementary and Secondary Education to create and approve age-appropriate firearm safety courses. House Bill 1117 does state that if an option of live fire training is approved, parents would have to give consent. Health inspectors say they've found some concerns in the kitchen area of Joplin's Cecil Floyd Elementary School. They cite contamination from mice. In response, the school district says, in part, quote, "We're working closely with pest control professionals and our custodial team to thoroughly address the problem and increasing preventative measures to ensure this does not happen again." Altogether, 7 places in Joplin failed that health inspection. They include a gas station, convenience store, a motel, and some restaurants. The Joplin Health Department has made it easier for the public to get access to those inspection reports. You'll find a link at koamnewsnow.com. Playoffs in Southwest Missouri continue to pick off some local teams. John Dales has a preview of 2 high school boys teams still standing coming up later in sports. But first, a high school senior in Neodesha receives a surprise and some high honors for his civic work. A senior at Neodesha High School is making history as the first in the state to be given the John Lewis Youth Leadership Award. This award symbolizes someone who supports the community through civic engagement. KOIM's Lonnie Walton has the story.
If I ever am elected governor, the Capitol will be an open office for any citizen to come in and have a conversation with me.
This is Tucker Leck, a 17-year-old senior at Neodesha High School. He was surprised in Spanish class today when Kansas Secretary of State Scott Schwab presented him with a John Lewis Youth Leadership Award.
I saw your camera. I'm like, okay, she's probably getting an award because she's an incredible teacher. And then I was able to see my mom and my dad, and I was like, wow, something's going on.
And it definitely wasn't for his teacher. It was for Tucker, who organized a voter registration event to teach youngsters about elections. Schwab says this is what the country needs.
And on a micro scale, this is what he's doing in his communities. He's telling folks, you own a share of your community, and to exercise that, you need to vote.
What's so compelling about this line of work is being able to make a difference, being able to give back, and secondly, seeing those citizens who can now register and contribute to our democracy, seeing the impact that has on our country.
And where does he get all this motivation? Let's talk to his parents.
There's our 80-year-old man in a child's body. So since he could talk, he's just always been very curious about politics and how our government works and how to promote democracy.
And when we ask this talented senior who are his inspirations, you may think it may be a politician, but he says it's the ones that love him most.
Mom and my dad are a huge inspiration to me. I love my family so much, and I'm the guy who believes in family. I think family is the core and the center to all success that you can have in this country. If state's office as a whole, I think is an inspiration to all Kansans who love our democracy, and especially Secretary Schwab.
Well, for the most part. Reporting in Neodesha, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Several people were nominated for that award, but they say no one else had the volume of experience or engagement that Tucker had. Our congratulations. A little bit later, a student-run television station at Joplin High School holds an induction ceremony for its Wall of Fame, and a couple of very familiar faces received the highest honor.
And warm and windy conditions persist through the week. I'm going to have those details coming up.
And Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, it was a pretty nice day today. We've gotten to the 70s and it was mostly sunny all day long. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We are still seeing those winds gusting. You can see the flags and even the camera's been shaking a little bit because of the strong winds. And we also still have our fire weather warning until 7 p.m. So we've got another 30 minutes left on that. Just for a couple of our central counties and northern counties. This may likely be extended until tomorrow as well because we have the same conditions persisting through tomorrow and even into early Wednesday. We don't have any clouds going on tonight. We're gonna have clear skies. Winds will still continue to gust up to 25-30 miles per hour, but temperatures only dropping down to the low 50s, so it's a pretty warm, mild night tonight. Now we're starting off again, low 50s, sunny all day long again, getting up to the mid 60s by 11 a.m. and then hitting again mid 70s for a high, and again sunny all day long. So tomorrow is going to mirror pretty much what today was like. Very beautiful weather, winds out of the south-southwest. We're starting off 50 degrees in the Joplin area, getting up to about 75 in Joplin, 77 in Miami, 78 and Veneta, 73 in Yates Center. Now we have this cold front that kind of pushes into our central counties and stalls out and then retreats by late Tuesday and into early Wednesday morning. Clouds return on Wednesday afternoon, early afternoon. Temperatures getting up to the low 60s by noon, and then we're high getting into the low 70s, mid 70s again on Wednesday, plus some rain chances. Most of us are just getting the clouds, but you can see a few rain showers kind of skirting around our edge of the counties, but could rotate back in as that low pressure system rotates back in. Not a big threat for that, maybe some light showers, but our next bigger system is going to be moving in on Friday. We're starting to see those winds gusting up to 25-30 miles per hour late Thursday afternoon, so it's about 8:30 p.m. when they start to pick up. Overnight gusting up to 50 miles per hour and then 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts through most of the day on Friday. This is now 4 p.m. We've got a pretty strong winds, nearly 60 mile per hour wind gusts in Miami, 55 in Joplin, about 40 in Pittsburgh, out of the southwest, bringing in again a lot of dry air. Likely going to see that fire weather get extended until Friday as well. And then we also see a chance for rain showers and possible thunderstorms. So we're starting off a few rain showers around 2 p.m. pushing in to our western counties, but by the time it hits our eastern counties, a little heavier rainfall. Temperatures getting into the mid 70s again, but those storms develop closer to Springfield and then shifting off to the east. Not seeing a big severe threat in our area at this time. We're going to keep an eye on it because there could be potential for that. And then we see a drop in temperatures about 15 to 20 degrees on Saturday into the mid 50s. Warming right back up, low 60s on Sunday and then 70s again to start next week.
Great temps, an extra hour of evening daylight. What a great time of year.
I can't complain about this week. It's looking great.
Got to get outside and enjoy it while we can. Thanks, Lindsay. Still ahead, Pittsburgh State women's basketball will host a regional in the NCAA tournament, and Webb City boys basketball faces Parkview in a district championship game. John Dales has those stories and more up next in sports.
Foodful, our name says it, and our price.
Photo restoration is also offered. See your options at the Finishing Touch, downtown Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh State women's basketball is just over 24 hours removed from winning the 2025 MIAA Tournament Championship. Now, prior to that, we already knew the Gorillas would make and likely host the NCAA tournament. Late last night, both of those get confirmed as the bracket is set for the Division II NCAA women's basketball tournament. Pittsburgh State is the #1 seed in the Central region. That means the road to the Elite Eight runs through Pittsburgh. For all 8 teams on your screen, the first 3 rounds of the tournament will take place at John Lance Arena, and that includes Fort Hays State, who PSU just beat in the conference title game yesterday. All 4 of the first round games will take place Friday. Things get started at noon. Gorillas don't play until 5 o'clock that evening. Their opponent for the first round, Harding. The Bisons just won the GAC Tournament Championship, and they knocked out the Gorillas of the NCAA tournament in the first round last year. Now, turning our attention to Missouri high school basketball, fewer and fewer of our teams remain alive in the playoffs. Tonight, one hopes to win a district championship, while 2 others try to advance to the state quarterfinals. We'll start in Webb City, where the Cardinals boys team is at home for the Class 5 District 6 championship game against Parkview. Now, Webb just upset Central from Springfield in the semifinals, who was the #1 seed in the tournament. This one tipped off at the top of the hour. We're going to have highlights from it tonight at 9 on Fox 14 and 10 right here on KOAM. Moving over to Class 4, Aurora boys basketball has already won a district championship. The Hound Dogs are in sectionals tonight where they face Logan Rogersville on the road. It's the only meeting of the year between these two. The winner goes on to the quarterfinals this Friday. Here's another Class 4 boys sectional game. Nevada is at home. Tigers play host to the Center Yellow Jackets from Kansas City. Nevada comes into this contest with a 21-6 record and hasn't lost a home game all season. I'll update you on the final score from both sectional games later tonight at 9 and 10 as well. Over in Kansas, sub-state tournaments wrapped up this weekend, so we already know which of our teams are headed to their respective state tournaments. Here's a look at those state qualifiers from our viewing area. In Class 1A, the girls from Colony Crest have earned a spot at state. In 2A, both Colgan teams are headed to the state tournament in Manhattan. Then in 3A, the girls from Girard and Neodesha, both of them earn a spot, along with the boys from Galena. Now those games will be in Hutchinson. Then in Class 4A, Labette County girls basketball is headed to state in Salina. We're going to hear from a couple of these teams later tonight. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
Hey, I'm Scott with Windows for Less. With over 5,000 windows a year installed.
Earned many medals during his service, including the Purple Heart. We're proud to salute Gary Reed, a 4-state hero.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 tonight. Pittsburgh schools will decide whether to lengthen the school day to make up for missed snow days. Plus, the 4 most common signs of colorectal cancer. And we take you to Media Night for Pittsburgh High School's latest production of The Unsinkable Molly Brown. Those stories, a lot more, of course, it's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. 8 Joplin High School alumni were inducted today into the Jet HD Wall of Fame. Jet HD, also known as Joplin Eagles Television, is celebrating its 25th anniversary. The program teaches students about audio and video broadcasting. Inducted alumni are those who've taken what they've learned from the program into the real world, including TV reporters, photographers, and musicians. Today's inductees included KOAM's very own Chris Warner, class of 2005, and Samantha Walker, class of 2020.
Jet HD is the reason I went into television. When I started this program, I thought it was just another way to maybe learn how to speak better, be a better journalist because I wanted to do print. But this is the program that told me I wanted to go into TV. So I would go back to that person now, as I was as that student, say, hey, your career is going to change.
It was learning a little more in depth than what I could learn on the job, because at that time I was still more behind the scenes at my broadcasting job. This was giving me more on air, if you will, experience in writing and producing and shooting and interviewing as well, conducting interviews with students and staff at the school.
Whole hallway up with kids. I want to celebrate as many kids that go through this program that do awesome things. It just shows you that they're capable of doing it, and I want to celebrate their successes.
Yeah, the instructors of Jet HD say they do indeed soon hope to have a full wall of the alumni as they continue to teach students, and those of you who are viewers of KOAM TV know what a great asset Samantha and Chris both are. They're very versatile, they're skilled, they're just great people, good journalists, and it started with Jet HD. We're grateful to them as well.
Well, I started with working with Chris in the morning, and he taught me a lot being on air. So
that guy can do anything.
Oh, I know. Well, weather's looking pretty good this week. Temperatures in the 70s, possible showers on Wednesday, but overall it is going to be a sunny week.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. See you at 10. Let's make it a great evening.